to another episode of The Real Men of Real Estate hosted by me, Thomas F. Chappell Jr. I'm here with my very special guest, Dr. Sharon Barnes, and we're going to be talking for about an hour on different things that she's doing in the real estate space. So let's get the chance to meet. I used to know her as Sharon Barnes, but then she told me she has a doctor in front of her name, so I got to call her by her proper name, Dr. Sharon Barnes. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Thomas. Thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you for joining the show. I really appreciate it. So let's get started on having the folks know who you are and how did you, are you originally from California or what?
I was born in Texas, raised in California, though. My roots are in Compton, from Compton by way of Pomona. Cal State Fullerton, bought my first house back in Pomona. Just been Inland Empire for over 30, 40 years now.
Okay, so you inundated in the Inland Empire. Okay,
yes.
So let's just give them a brief synopsis of who you are and how did we get here on you doing the things that you're doing. So let's just get started going.
Wow, Thomas, that's a loaded question. And you want me to cover like 30 years in 3 minutes. And I can talk. So let me just hit some of the highlights and just say we understand that as we go through life, stages change and we have to re-strategize. So I was raised in Compton, graduated from Pomona High, went to Cal State Fullerton, started working in aerospace. I started working in aerospace when I was in high school. So some of my, I was back, when they had the Cedar program. So I never worked at Jack in the Box and McDonald's. They wouldn't hire me, okay? But I was with the Legal Aid Society in Pomona when I was in high school. I had a little job at General Dynamics when I was in high school.
Wow.
And so when I went to college and it came time to do the internship, I'm trying to find places to go, and my aerospace exposure in high school got me the internships in aerospace at Northrop and Hughes Aircraft when I was in college at Cal State Fullerton. So, of course, it naturally followed when I graduated from college. My first job was back at General Dynamics, where I was in high school, and I was in the logistics support department. And it was a decent job. I mean, it was good. It had benefits and everything. It was really nice. But I was like 21 years old because I graduated a year early from high school. I graduated at 17. I graduated a little bit early from college. I graduated by the time I was like 20. And so I'm at 21 punching the clock every day, going through these gates and getting searched, coming in and out of job. I'm like, nah, I don't think I want to do this till I'm 65. Okay, I got to be a better way. So I decided to go back to school and couldn't make up my mind whether I would go for my master's or go to law school, whatever. So I applied to about 10 universities, got accepted at all of them, and still had to decide which way to go. So I thought law was the high road. If I failed there, I could always go back and get a master's. That's just my young mind thinking. So I went to law school. Long story short, I did graduate, did pass the bar, not the first time, but I passed. That's the important part. I started my law career while, my first cases that I did, believe it or not, was while I was working at Northrop on the B-2 bomber.
Oh.
And I had a couple of colleagues who got in trouble with their security clearance, and they had to go up in front of the DOD. And I had my license. I was fresh off the boat, but I knew aerospace. So I represented them, and I won.
Wow, congratulations.
Yeah, I won those two cases. And then I, outside of aerospace, my first job was with a law firm over in Riverside, was Filler and Bell then, and they did personal injury and medical malpractice. And so that was my first legal job. And back in the downturn of 1994, around 94, 92, back there anyway, we went through a dip, and they had to cut down, and I was laid off as one of the newer associates, and I started my own law practice. Okay. I also got pregnant in 1990, and I had a high-risk pregnancy, and my daughter was born with special needs. We rotated in and out the hospital for 2 years, and I couldn't convince anybody that I could work 40 hours for them, although I was working 80 hours for myself.
Wow.
So, you have to do what you have to do.
True.
So, I had my own law practice. Then I went into partnership with two other black female attorneys over in Riverside. So we opened up one of the first black female attorney law firms back in 1992.
Congratulations.
And so we did that. That was an experiment that didn't have the results that we hoped for, but it was a good experiment. And then I was back on my own. So I practiced law for a while. I did medical malpractice, personal injury, family law, civil law. What I really liked to do in that practice was help my community. So I did a lot of business coaching, business development. I opened up my office to nonprofits and to small groups. I had an office down in Ontario. I mean, we had everything from Bible study during lunch hour to to business coaching after hours. So there's a lot of people that kind of benefited from that practice. But I think that was my calling, and it's just been to help my community to make informed decisions, to leverage what they have, and to make the best out of what we can do.
Wow. I'm amazed. So, I mean, right now, if we wanted to, we can just cut the show because she just slammed it, dropped the mic and everything. So
That's just the beginning.
But I mean, that's a wonderful accomplishment, and for you to be able to do all those different things and whatnot. My thing is, give me some of that brain power.
I said, hey, it takes more than brain power. They say, hey, the Lord was there because things happen. I mean, there's challenges along the way. I have been married to my husband. We've been married 38 years now.
Congratulations.
My number one supporter, my business partner now, and our newest endeavor with the accessory dwelling units. And
Now,
so
do me a
forth.
favor. Say
Yes.
that one more time, because there's a lot of people that don't even get a chance to get to 30 years. So,
38.
38. I mean, that's wonderful. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? With all the different challenges that goes on in this world, I
Yeah.
mean, for you guys to be able to still be together through the storm, I'm very impressed with that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been some storms. I mean, we've had some challenges. I mentioned I had a high-risk pregnancy. My daughter was born with cerebral palsy. We rotated in and out the hospital for a couple of years, and her problems, my problems. And there was times when my husband was coming to visit, and my parents, and they were going from one floor to visit me and down to another floor to visit her.
Wow.
Okay, I remember getting discharged from the hospital and having people drive me to the hospital to see my daughter. And then I was able to drive myself, but I had to push myself in a wheelchair or get somebody to push me to go see. But my baby was in there. Okay?
Yeah, well, that's
So
good.
you have to do what you have to do. Then we had 5 good years, and the Lord ushered her back home when she was 7.
Oh,
But
I'm
he
sorry
left
to
me.
hear that, but I'm glad.
Yeah, but he left me here.
That's
'cause,
good.
And so all that nurturing and supportive and everything, he left me here for a purpose.
So you fighting
I've
the
been
power.
trying to give it back.
You're fighting the power. So, let's advance in a little bit. So, how did you end up getting into real estate?
It was basically my first push into real estate was my clients. When I was practicing law, I started with a lot of real estate investors, mortgage brokers, people that were coming together to do projects across the country. They were forming their LLCs. They needed contractual documents. They needed legal questions answered as they decided which way to go, what entity would be best, and things like that. So I worked with them, and they kept saying, "You need to go into real estate. You need to be our broker. You need to get your license, okay?" And then it was one thing that sometimes these projects, the money doesn't always equal out the way you think.
Correct.
So the real estate license was a value-added service, because even as an attorney, I couldn't split into commissions. I couldn't do certain things directly related to real estate and get that real estate related money unless I had a license to do so. So my clients pushed me into getting my real estate license to start with, and I had that combined with the practice of law. And then along the line, like I said, things happen in life, and real estate became my number one, and my legal knowledge is just my value-added service that I can give back.
Okay, so that's where I come into play because I knew you as an agent and I didn't know all the other stuff. But now that I know that, it's like, okay, now we on the right track. So when I came into California and started doing it, I ended up meeting you at a real estate investment club called Inland Empire Real Estate Investment Club.
Yes.
Matter of fact, I met you and your partner in crime, LaToya Tilley,
Yes.
which she was a guest last month.
Right.
So how did that incorporate with you two?
Oh, wow. Well, my first knowledge and becoming knowing LaToya was as a coworker at one of the brokerages, real estate brokerages in Upland. And she was there with her cousin, and she was starting to work, and they worked real estate. And then we moved to another office, same company up in Colton, and she went and got a job. And so I kept reaching out, like, if you get anything with real estate, I'm here. We can still work together, right? And she came back in, full time, and we started just doing things together because we kind of clicked and we, shared information, shared knowledge with each other, shared deals and whatever. And it was really kind of funny because, we were in Colton, she would go to her aunt's house for lunch or whatever, and she kept talking about her family. Okay, she kept talking about her family, but one day she went to lunch and she came back, and I guess my name had came up, and she said, "I think you know my auntie," and she said the name. And I'm like, "Yeah." I said, "I've been knowing your family for years," and so we know that we've had to cross paths before, but we just weren't aware of each other until then.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have to cut this short real quick. We're going to take a commercial break, and we're going to come back with our guest, Dr. Sharon Barnes. Thank you for listening to The Real Men of Real Estate.